Hello and welcome to a new video on my channel. Today we're going to talk about the Big Game Hunt event, and first of all let's start with what's new. So there's new mythical sets for every class. There's a new map called the Blazing Inferno, which is basically an old map that got reactivated for this event. And in this map you can drop the new mythical items, but more on that later. As every year in the Big Game Hunt event there's a raffle. And this year's Raffle Rewards are the new mythical set, as well as the Bony Dragoni. For the rewards, there's 3 progress bars. Depending on your level, they might be a little bit smaller or bigger. On level 100, it will be 155k progress. You can drop progress for the event from any Drakensang boss. So no parallel world bosses as in the last event, and also no sentinels are dropping progress for this event. So you can only farm Drakensang bosses. Which boss you should farm depends on if you need a craft from any boss. If you anyways want to craft some set piece or unique from any boss, farm that boss. Otherwise than that, focus on bosses that have a short animation or no animation when being spawned, like Arachna, Sigrismar, or Medusa. From the progress bar, you will obtain entrances to the Inferno map for the single bosses and for the mixed arena. The mythic items can only be dropped from the mixed arena where all 6 bosses spawn, and you get a chest at the end. The ring is dropped from the chest, and the glow can be dropped from any of the 6 bosses. To finish this event, you will need a lot of keys of prowess. To farm those, you will have to kill sentinels. Most common farm methods are either in the Great Desert or cleaning a dungeon, especially small dungeons like Stonekeep or the FGI, and waiting for the sentinel to spawn and kill the sentinel and loot the keys from the sentinel. As alternative, you could also farm bosses like Sargon in Andrakash in the portal, which will not cost you any keys. On top of that, you could also farm Mortis, and in the beginning of the event, the New Moon event was also active, where you did also not need any keys to enter to the boss, but they also dropped you some progress. Nevertheless, it's really hard to finish this event, since you will need multiple thousands of keys. That's why I would recommend you to not finish all progress bars if you don't have so much spare time, but just finish the first or maybe the second progress bar and take the rewards from these 2 bars. On top of that, there's a bonus code for you, Run Hero Run, which will give you 500 keys of prowess. Now let's look at a new set, Forgotten Glory. It will have unique values. The ring will have 5% crit value and 5% damage, and the cloak will have 10% damage as unique value. On top of that, the set has a mythical set bonus. For decays, it's when you execute or cast your Ban of War, your damage is increased by 100% and your critical value is increased by 15% for 5 seconds. It's probably the weakest set of those 4. Moving on with the Ranger set, when Thicket of Thorn hits an enemy, your concentration cost is decreased to 0 and the explosive arrow does not have a cooldown for 3 seconds, which is basically the old Q7 set for the Ranger, except that you have to hit Thicket of Thorns instead of the net. For the Steam Mechanicus, the mythical bonus is that critical hits with quick shots cause the currently active mechanical turrets to fire an additional bullet with each shot, and this stacks up to 2 times, so the mechanical turret will shoot up to 3 bullets at a time. Last but not least, the Spellweavers. It's when executing an ice missile, it will shoot 3 projectiles instead of 1. So stacked with all 3 projectiles will do 1700% damage. You can only drop these items in the Blazing Inferno, and to be able to get the Blazing Inferno you can craft travel rations. Therefore you will need 50 empowered sorcerer books, which you can drop from any boss on Parallel World Bloodshed. On top of that you will need 100 dragon bones and 1 elixir of eternal life, which you will get from the shop for 15,000 undermont. The hardest part will be to get the 50 empowered sorcerer books, since there are no guaranteed drop, and you will get 1 book in average every 3rd or 4th run. Now if you finally managed to craft an entrance to the Blazing Inferno, here are some tips for the boss runs. Firstly, the pets that are reducing boss resistances or armor are not working in the arena, so you can play an offensive or a defensive pet. The only boss where you can break the armor or resistances is Balor. On top of that, it's a solo map, and each boss will spawn immediately after you kill the previous one. You can always watch the health bar of each boss to see against which element he has high or normal resistances. For Haradur, he has high resistances against lightning and ice, so you will want to play elemental essences of fire, poison. For Sargon, he has high elemental resistances against lightning, so you can play either of the 3 remaining elementals, which are ice, fire, or poison. Herald has high resistances against fire, so you might want to play ice, lightning, or poison. Nefertari has high resistances against lightning, so you can play ice, fire, or poison. Balor can be armor broken and resistance broken, so you can simply break him and kill him easily. What makes Balor pretty hard instead is that his stuns are invisible and he does a lot of damage. On top of that, take care if you run too far away, his whole health will be regenerated. Lastly, for Mortis, he has high resistances against every element, so it doesn't matter which element you play on. But here's the skill tree that I used for the Blazing Inferno as a Dragon Knight. I've put 2 points in the Lightning Mastery. As I explained, you will get more damage from the Lightning Mastery because of the Electrified that stacks up to 50 times, and for each stack you get 5% more damage. For mages, I heard that Fire Guardian and playing with double Fireball, the cloak from Q7 from Herald, should be pretty good. For rangers, you can either play poison or a fire build. And for dwarves, I would also recommend to play a lightning build. If you want to see my full item build and also how I killed the arena, check out my other video where I uploaded a full run of the mixed arena and also showed my item build for it. On top of that, leave a like and a subscribe if you want to see more content like this. And I thank you very much for watching. See you in the next video.